So, Sharon, tell us about the bodice-ripping yarn that is Bridgerton in Regency period England.
Yes,
Or what I've decided Bridgerton is it's a parallel universe. It's a parallel
yes.
universe Regency period England.
That's the only way you can look at it, because otherwise it just nothing makes sense.
Yeah.
Because it's just
100%. Yeah.
it's just not the Regency. So it's like you just can't think of it as a Regency setting, because it's just not. Um,
I mean,
but
I think it's for that. I personally think that it's better for that, but you have to
yes,
think of it as an alternative universe, because if you try and think of it as a historical thing, it falls apart really quickly.
yeah, it just makes your head hurt trying to work out what that's about. And it's like, even things like the clothes. The clothes are completely insane if you look at them as a Regency outfit, but when you look at them as like, this is a Regency, I call it the sort of Regency on acid, because it's just slightly trippy.
And so
All the
really
clothes.
inspired outfits.
Yeah, so some of them are crazy, but they work because they're just so crazy. And others, you're just thinking, you don't get this period at all. So you have to ignore that. And yeah, to me, I view it as a complete fantasy. That yeah, it's a fantasy world, and it's parallel universe is a good way of explaining it. So for reasons only known to Netflix, they split the season into two parts. Um,
I think we know the reason. I think it had to do with the Hollywood strikes, the actors strike.
yeah, so it's sort of dragged out that
Yeah.
whole process.
So I think when they released the first half, they were still putting the second half together.
Oh, right. So right up to the last minute then.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
yeah, this is basically the story of the first half, where we were left with Colin and Penelope. She's loved him since she first set eyes on him. He's been a bit slower to pick up on it, but
he's
he's been
so
on his
dumb.
grand tour, and then
Yeah.
he's come back from his grand tour, and he's suddenly gone, "Hey, Penelope, you're all grown up now." And then they sort of they get together, but there's still secrets between them. So we know in the world of any fantasy fiction or any romantic fiction that there's one thing that the romantic writer does not like, and that is secrets. And so Penelope has a big secret. Those of people who have watched Bridgerton know that her secret is that she is Lady Whistledown. And Lady Whistledown is like the gossip colonist par excellence, who basically has the whole ton in the palm of her hand.
Yeah,
And and the Queen especially is dying to know who is Lady Whistledown. And her best friend Eloise Bridgerton found out that Penelope was Lady Whistledown, and it's destroyed their friendship basically. And now the pressure is on Penelope, is like to come clean to Colin before you get married, because you should not go into marriage with this big
yeah.
secret hanging over you. So there's that element of tension. It's like, well, no, will she tell? Well, how will they divulge this secret? And that is played out over these episodes. And then
Yes.
with all these Bridgerton series, because there's lots of siblings, you get little side stories. So in this one, you get the side stories about um, Colin's older brother Benedict and his younger sister Francesca. And
Yeah.
so you see about their sort of romantic storylines are sort of unfolding. So yes, it does that. It sort of follows the sort of broadly the route of the book, where you get scenes of intimacy, shall we
Hmm.
say? And there is quite a
Because
fame that, well, in the book it's, I read the books 20 odd years ago, so they are not fresh in my mind. But
Yep.
I do seem to remember that, yeah, that Colin and Penelope um, did, shall we say, get familiar with one another
Yes.
before their wedding. And there's one particular
Yes.
scene that has caused a bit of, I think, they're the sort of keyboard warriors who've sort of taken to town on it, because in this season, Penelope and Colin are viewing their own home, and they decide that they're going to take on the opportunity of getting better
Yeah,
acquainted.
yeah, okay, so I mean, in the first half of the season, we had the carriage scene, and
The
everybody
carriage
spoke about
scene.
the carriage scene, which they started calling them Poland, which I don't
Poland.
like. I don't like
No,
Poland. I prefer Penelope. So,
it's like answer smash, isn't it?
it
I don't
is
know quite how to say some of those. Um,
Penelope, yeah, but it's but
I
I prefer,
like yeah.
yeah, but it's so we had that, and then in this season, there's been a big talk about this one scene, and
Call it the
I feel
mirror
like
scene.
it's one of those things because I said the last time Bridgerton is a romantic comedy. It follows all the beats of a romantic comedy. There's a
Yeah,
secret. It shall be revealed. Oh my God! Will their lovers be ripped apart forever? Oh no! They'll come back together. And it follows all those things. So I feel like there's some things where you think so. The big sex scene that they talk about, which is a bit different from other sex scenes that you've had in Bridgerton so far, has been like this one. I think they're trying to go for something a bit more because I've seen the first episode of this, and they're trying to go for something that's a bit more tender. And people were like, and I saw one review that said, this is a riposte to anybody who says that sex scenes are totally unnecessary in films and TV and everything. And I don't know about you guys. Maybe I'm just a prude, but I found that scene to be incredibly cringe. I found that scene to be
I
like
have to
massively.
say, I did as well. I thought it went on too long.
I just thought it was, I thought it was really cringe worthy. I could hardly watch it.
I found the majority of the sex scenes in all of the series pretty cringe. And I'm not a prude. I'm perfectly happy with sex scenes in other series. I just find it, yeah,
Yeah,
that
to me, I didn't find it. It didn't work for me. Again, I think I would probably say I am a prude, but, and I sort of fly my sort of prudish, spinsterish colours sort of proudly. But I found that it was, yeah, to me it was. And again, in other films, I'm thinking that's not too bad actually. It was done quite discreetly. I think
Yeah,
where they were sort of trying to be a bit more. Trying to be bolder with saying that she's a fuller figure. Should we say she's got a fuller figure than some of the other
yeah.
actresses? And she was saying, I want to be, sort of, proudly naked in this scene.
Yeah.
I didn't have that. Wasn't my biggest issue with it. I just found
That wasn't my issue with it
no,
whatsoever.
no,
no, because I thought that
and
she was filmed rather fractionally. Actually, I
yeah,
thought she's got beautiful skin all
yeah.
over. So
Overall, she is just a fantastic looking woman. So there's nothing.
yeah,
I do not disagree with that.
And
but I just did not think. For me, I just didn't. I found, to me, there was something lacking in the chemistry between them. When everyone says, "Oh, they've got great chemistry," I didn't see it, and so where I didn't see that chemistry, I didn't feel that chemistry, it became embarrassing. And I find when you can see there's chemistry between them, when you sort of you believe them, you think, yeah, that doesn't feel embarrassing. But I didn't feel that chemistry between them. So to me, it was two strangers sort of being made to do something that didn't look
Well,
comfortable.
okay, this is funny. I think this is running the whole gamut because I do think that there's chemistry between them. I actually do really like them together, and I think since the first season of Bridgerton, I've been like, will these two idiots just get over themselves and get together? So
when you see the actors together, they are just so comfortable in their own skin with each other. It's
yeah,
really funny. It's actually really nice. Actually, the whole cast are just really funny to see together.
yeah.
Really,
Uh,
just I don't do anything other than hang out with you lot, do I?
Exactly. I mean, I think honestly, some of the family scenes in Bridgerton are actually some of my favorite family scenes I think I've seen.
Yeah.
Like where they get together and Hyacinth is all like, "Oh my God, you're gonna be my sister," and all of that stuff. I really, really.
Oh, the behind the scenes stuff is an absolute blast.
Yeah, but for some reason
Like that.
that scene, I thought I think you could see what they were going for, and you could see what they were trying to go to for like a reality about that time and about how sexually closeted women were kept deliberately, and I think you could see what they were trying to go, but
I think
that scene didn't work for me. It was. I think it went on too long and it was too cringe.
because I think we do also know that women weren't necessarily that sexually closeted either. So
Well,
I think
we know not all women were, but
I think it sort of plays to it's because it was actually a relatively Georgians were relatively liberated, certainly with as these things went. I mean, George III was famously monogamous, but his father and grandfather weren't, and his son married.
oh yeah, no,
The sons were
those are
notorious.
all the men.
So it was, but there were women who were quite, easygoing with,
I
which
think it was more if you were a debutante, you were expected to behave until you got married and you gave your husband a child, and
And
then
then
if
after
you were
that,
in the upper echelons, after that you basically could do your own thing. So I think I know some famous sort of households were known as, I can't remember the name of the family, but they were called like the miscellany, because they knew who the father of the first two children were. But after that, it was like anyone's guess. So, because you're expected to be chaste and faithful literally until you deliver the heir, and after that, it's all bets are off. And there was amongst the aristocracy, among the middle classes were much more sort of prudish. And the lower classes.
But we've kind of derailed your review of Bridgerton season 3 part 2. So and we've done what they probably wanted us to do when they made this, and just talked about the sex. So
Yes.
but generally speaking, what did you think of the thing in its entirety?
I would say, to me, it was okay. I didn't love it, and I think, as I expressed when I saw the first half, I liked the first season. I thought that was a guilty pleasure. It was a bit of a romp. It was a bit of fun.
Yeah.
The second one, less so, but again, the characters were likable, and it kept you involved in it. And you kept going with it. And again, I liked the chemistry between them. This one, I was less involved. I found it a bit more of a slog. So I did manage to watch the 4 remaining episodes over 2 days. I watched 2 and 2.
Yeah.
But I must admit, I found it a bit more of like okay, I'll watch it, just watch it. Whereas I didn't eagerly think, oh yes, Bridgerton. I found it I wasn't sucked in as much. I'm finding I'm getting slightly over the whole Regency on acid look of the show. To me, I'm just slightly over it. I'm thinking, and I watched Emma, which was on the television, which is more like classically Regency, and I was like, oh, it's so nice to see someone with hand curled hair and hand stitched clothes, and to make it looked right, felt right. I liked the music, and I just liked it. And then when you compare it to Bridgerton, you're like, this is just, we explained, it's a fantasy. So you got to accept it for what it is. You have to view it within that prison. But I didn't love this season. I thought it was okay, but I didn't love it, and I didn't really feel that connected to the characters. And I'm really not. If in the previous bunch, the anticipation is like, oh, what they're going to do next. My anticipation is sort of like diminishing rapidly for the next one. So I'm really a bit like, yeah, okay. If it's going to be 2 years, I might not even. I might be well over it by then.
Yeah.
Before the next one's out. But for me, it was a 3. I couldn't really give it any more than that, and it was just about a 3, because I was a bit ambiguous about this one. I didn't love it, and I didn't find it as engrossing or as engaging as others of this season. What did you think, Holly? You've only seen part of it, but what did you think?
I think that's pretty much on the nose. It's fine, and I find the cast quite delightful. I enjoy watching videos of them on Instagram. They make me giggle. But I think I like them on Instagram more than I like the series. And I'm not sure if that's a statement of modern life and one's attention span, or a damning indictment of something.
It is. And I, on the other hand, was watching this over my wife's shoulder, which is how I watch Bridgerton. She watches it, and I sort of like watch it, and I annoy her with, oh my God, what's she done now? Who's there? Oh, what did Lady Featherington do? Because Lady Featherington is my favorite character.
Yeah, she's a blast. I liked her in this. She was actually the best thing about this, I thought.
She is hilarious. She is hilarious.
Absolute delight. She's good in everything. I can't think what else she's been in. Always
Polly
good.
Walker. She's in Rome. She was in Enchanted April many years ago when she was. Well, she's still beautiful now, but she was stunning when she was.
She's just wonderful. I love her.
She's beautiful.
Yeah, I think she's brilliant. She's brilliant. I mean, love her in this. I think she's brilliant.
It is a spectacular cast.
Yeah.
I mean, they are.
But if it is this, because I watched pretty much none of season 2. I watched it over my wife's shoulder, and I was like, okay, what's happening? Well, he's been an idiot. Okay, he's gonna see his love. Okay, he's gonna see he loves her. Blah blah blah. But this actually made me think, watching bits of this movie, think maybe I should start watching this again. I actually enjoyed the bits of season 3 that I watched. But now that my wife has finished it, I don't feel the need to go watch it by myself. I'm like, no, I'm not watching it unless I'm watching it with you. So it's
watchable, though. I'd say it's thoroughly watchable.
It is watchable, but it is watchable. I still think it is still watchable. Although I am here for the Eloise story. They need to do the Eloise story. If there is an Eloise
that was
story,
my favourite book. So I'm thinking, but it was one of the later books. I think book 5 or something. So I'm thinking, oh, please just get on with Eloise.
Because they're all getting a bit old in a good way for them as actors, but
Yeah.
They're now all the women are in their 30s, and it's
yeah.
not long that you can pretend that you're 19 when you're 35.
Yeah, because it's Claudia Jessie. Claudia Jessie is 34.
Yeah,
she's 34, and it's and I'm like, I love her. I love her performance and everything. I really like Eloise, but they need to carry on and do that story quick. But okay,
I can't see how they're going to do it unless they sort of double up. But I'm thinking, if they're going to do like each sibling has their own series, they're just not going to get through them.
No, I don't think they're going to do that. Because I mean,
it's going to be like Benedict and Eloise. I think are they just going to do Benedict and Eloise and leave? But I think they've been saying a lot about. We see Francesca's future spouse. We've already met them because anyone who reads the books knows that she is married twice. But we've seen her future spouse in this season, and we have met Eloise's future spouse in season 1. But we haven't met Benedict's future spouse. So they've teased them.
Oh, good Lord! This is this is me. Like you see, okay, like Holly, you go read the book. I want to go back and see if I can figure out who the spouse is.
I think that as well. I'm not ruling. These are not either ors. Foolish.
Okay, cool. But okay, we need to move on. So that's 3 stars for Bridgerton season 3 part 2.